What if one country's environmental crisis became another country's billion-dollar opportunity? In Australia, wild dogs and dingoes have caused massive losses to livestock farmers for decades, creating an ongoing battle across millions of hectares of land. But thousands of kilometers away, Vietnam found a way to turn this unexpected challenge into a thriving industry worth billions. How did a problem that Australia struggled to control become an economic opportunity for Vietnam? What industries, trade networks, and market forces made it possible? And what does this surprising connection reveal about the global economy? In today's episode of Datascope, we'll uncover the fascinating story of how Vietnam transformed an unlikely resource into a powerful economic engine, creating jobs, boosting exports, and building a billion-dollar industry from a problem few people saw coming. Stay with us as we dive into the numbers, the history, and the incredible business strategy behind this remarkable story. Datascope, exploring the world through data, engineering, and the stories behind global megaprojects. Once the dogs arrived in Australia, they adapted to the wild environment and evolved into dingoes over thousands of years. For a long time, dingoes thrived as part of the natural ecosystem, hunting native animals and contributing to ecological balance without significant human interaction. The situation began to shift in the 19th century with the expansion of sheep farming into arid regions of Queensland and New South Wales. Dingoes faced a new challenge as they encountered large herds of livestock that were unaccustomed to predators. This marked a significant turning point in the relationship between dingoes and humans, leading to increased conflicts. Even a small pack of wild dogs can cause severe damage to farms in just one night, turning an ecological interaction into an economic problem. The significant change came not from pure dingoes but from humans, as Europeans brought domestic dogs to Australia that interbred with dingoes. This created a hybrid population of wild dogs, which are highly adaptable and reproduce rapidly, complicating the situation further. These hybrids transformed an ecological conflict into a nationwide economic issue, with the current population of wild dogs in Australia estimated at around 6 million. They cause over $200 million in damage each year by attacking sheep and young cattle in key farming regions. Under growing pressure, I have seen Australia implement a nearly unprecedented solution by building a fence system over 5,600 kilometers to separate livestock from wild dog populations. This structure, known as the dingo fence, stands as one of the longest fences ever constructed on Earth. Despite this, the ongoing nationwide control programs, like the National Wild Dog Action Plan, focus on regional trapping, baiting, and monitoring efforts that span thousands of square kilometers. Even with these measures maintained for decades, the battle against wild dogs has not come to a definitive end. Meanwhile, I observe that in India, descendants of dingoes, now wild dogs, have created a serious crisis in densely populated cities, contrasting with their long history of cohabitation with humans. I have seen how dogs once played integral roles in villages, guarding homes, and accompanying hunters. However, with rapid urban expansion in the 20th century, millions of dogs were abandoned or reproduced uncontrollably, leading to large stray dog populations. Currently, the number of stray dogs in the country exceeds 60 million, which is the largest in the world. This situation has turned coexistence with stray dogs into a serious public health challenge. Every year, over 9 million dog bite cases are recorded, with many linked to rabies, resulting in approximately 18,000 to 20,000 fatalities annually in India, making up nearly 40% of global rabies deaths. To address the issue of stray dog populations, the Indian government implemented the Animal Birth Control Program, combining sterilization and vaccination. In contrast to other countries' experiences, the distant relatives of dingoes in Vietnam are shifting roles from household guard animals to commercial livestock. Provinces like Thanh Nguyen, Bac Giang, and Nay and now have farms with herds ranging from 200 to 500 animals, and some operations exceed 1,000. These farms are organized into semi-permanent housing with sections for different ages, weights, and growth stages to ensure uniform development. This modern approach resembles small-scale livestock production systems rather than the traditional role of dogs as household guardians. I control feeding schedules at fixed times, monitor weight gain, and actively adjust diets to shorten production cycles. In my area, households collaborate in cluster-based farming models, forming semi-concentrated production zones that stabilize supply throughout the year. The primary feed sources for my animals come from agricultural byproducts and recycled local food waste, which significantly reduces input costs. Thanks to low production costs and fast turnover between farming cycles, this activity has expanded into interconnected production clusters. As a result, a localized supply system has emerged, providing additional income for farming households and contributing to a broader rural economic structure. Returning to Australia and India, I find it challenging to control dog populations due to their fast reproduction rates, with females capable of having 4 to 8 puppies in 2 litters annually. This rapid growth can lead to exponential population increases if not addressed promptly. However, the main issue is the human environment, particularly in cities. Everyday waste from markets and restaurants creates a steady food supply for stray dogs, preventing natural population declines. Stray dogs thrive not because of natural conditions, but rather due to human waste and food sources. I observe that human waste plays a crucial role in the survival of certain animal populations. This complicates the implementation of effective control measures. In Australia, I notice a challenging conflict between the need to protect native dingoes and the efforts to eliminate wild dogs that threaten livestock. In India, I see a similar struggle between managing population control for public health and adhering to animal welfare concerns. I recognize that despite discussions about adopting Vietnam's approach, the distinct characteristics of dog populations in each country make such a model unlikely to succeed. In Vietnam, the majority of animals entering the consumption chain come from farmed or organized sources rather than from urban strays. The main challenge lies in managing supply chains and consumption, unlike in other countries where wild population control is the focus. The issue is rooted in a long-standing supply-demand system rather than the growth of stray populations. Discussions about animal protection in Vietnam intertwine with dietary habits and cultural values that are deeply entrenched in society. This situation underscores that strategies effective in one country may not be directly applicable in another. The global issue of stray and wild dogs cannot be addressed with a one-size-fits-all solution, as it varies significantly by each country's ecological, economic, and cultural context. Reflecting on experiences from Australia to India, I realize that the primary issue with stray dogs stems from human actions rather than the dogs themselves. In India, the population of stray dogs is influenced by rapid urbanization, which provides a consistent food source from waste generated by households and businesses. This stable food supply prevents the population of stray dogs from diminishing, while abandoned pets exacerbate the problem in already crowded cities. Conversely, the situation in Australia is rooted in the historical presence of wild dogs that descended from animals accompanying humans, which later interbred with domesticated dogs brought during colonization. 1458. This means the current problem is not only ecological, but also a long-term result of 1504 human history. 1505. According to international organizations, about 200 million dogs worldwide live outside. 1510, direct human control. 1511, most of them exist not because they are well adapted to nature, but because they are highly, 1516, adapted to human-made environments. 1519, in other words, stray dogs are not a natural phenomenon. 1522, they are the result of urbanization, waste, social change, and human management. 1528. If waste systems do not improve, pets continue to be abandoned, and cities fail to manage. 1533. growth, this problem will not disappear. And that's the remarkable story of how Vietnam transformed an unexpected opportunity into a billion-dollar industry, proving that in today's interconnected world, one nation's challenge can become another nation's economic success. If you enjoyed this deep dive into global industries, engineering, and the hidden forces shaping our world, make sure to like the video